Let's explore autistic history and the Autism Wars. This is part 48 of a series. Okay, so I'm going to pick up where we left off in sharing an article I written last year, the year before, I can't remember time. Anyhow, inventing and then cashing in on the autism epidemic, and I'm sharing part, I believe, 2 of it under the subhead, we're not sure if it's a real epidemic, and this is actually part of a quote from Anthony Edwards, an actor, and Renee Russo, an actress, when they're testifying to Congress in, I think it's 1999. So I'm going to pick right up where we left off and go from there. A generation of children were lost. Hold up. Wait, where did they go? Certainly, Russo couldn't be referring to elder generations of autistics as a great tragedy and mystery. We weren't lost or missing. In fact, autistic advocates were fighting the autism community at that very moment to be heard above their noise. These folks might not know how many autistics existed, but we weren't lost. Russo and Edwards most likely didn't realize that instead of supporting autistics to have a better life with their testimonies, what they were doing actually is they were silencing us. We weren't lost. We just got erased. We were erased. So both bills would later be merged and introduced again as part of the Children's Health Act of 2000. And right now I'm going to share some autistic point of view under the subhead, The Lost Generation Speaks. Ooh. So what this is a sample letter to Congress created by autistics in protest of the Hear Their Silence rally. Remember we spoke about that. So I'm going to share with you this example letter that they have, so you can get a feel for the activism that was happening at that time from the autistic community. Dear Senator or Representative, last name here, this is an example, see? I am a constituent and an adult with autism. I am writing to you today to let you know that Hear Their Silence rally for an autism cure does not speak for me. Autism is a complex condition with many positive as well as negative aspects. We are not, contrary to popular ignorance, all silent. Most of us who have speech delays learn to communicate, and many of us never had a speech delay in the first place. Autism does not cause an autistic to suffer or shorten our lives. Most autistic persons, including myself, are happy to be autistic. It gives us a special perspective on the world. The world would be a much worse place had there not been an Albert Einstein, an Eric Satie, and Andy Warhol, or insert your favorite AC from past here if you would like. I'm assuming that's autistics and cousins. And other scientists, inventors, composers, and artists who are recognized today as being autistic. He goes on, I don't want a cure or funding for research into a cure. What I want it funded is appropriate education and practical support services that would allow me and persons like me to use our unique skills productively and to live happy and fulfilling lives. And it says here in parentheses, insert details about what you want in your life here if you'd like, but keep the letter short. Sincerely, and your name here. So that is an example of what autistic community, autistic activists were saying and doing at this era, right then, right there, at the same time as these people are testifying on behalf of all autistics. All right, the next section I'm going to share is look into their eyes and hear their silence. So, a congressional hearing on autism was held to investigate the increased prevalence rate for autism on April 6, 2000. This hearing, Autism, Present Challenges, Future Needs, Why the Increased Rates, was the first of its kind dedicating an entire day to autism. Congress would hear from parents of an autistic, researchers, government officials, and health professionals. Witness panels included Autism, A Parent's Perspective, Autism, that connection, that V word I can't say for the filters, I think. So, and Autism, Treatment Options and Research. Senator Dan Burton, grandfather of an autistic, presided over the hearing and gave the opening statement. What does Senator Dan Burton have to say? Let's see. This morning, we are here to talk about autism. As we learned in our August hearing, the rates of autism have escalated dramatically in the last few years. What used to be considered a rare disorder has become a near epidemic. We have received hundreds of letters from parents across the country. When asked about the increased rates of autism, many will immediately discount that there's even an increase. Even though the latest statistics from the Department of Education show increased rate in every single state. Others will say the increase is due to better diagnostic skills. Others will say it is because the diagnostic category was expanded. Oh gosh. Yeah. There wasn't an accurate counting of autistics in the nation yet, but Burton was already convinced that the autism epidemic was real. He relied on parents and questionable autism experts and professionals' anecdotes as evidence. Oh, and he keeps talking. Says this increase is not just better counting. If we want to find a cure, we must first look into the cause. We must do this now before our health and education systems are bankrupted and before more of our nation's children are locked inside themselves with this disease. Right. So, yeah, autism is a neurodevelopmental difference and disability, not a disease. Not a disease. All right, hold on. This is where it gets tricky. It's not a disease unless you believe Burton and the professionals he had testify that day. This late onset or acquired autism they were talking about wasn't really real autism, but a newly invented disease that mimicked autism triggered by something in the environment. This, what he's talking about, was a whole new, different kind of autism. I'm wrapping this video up here. Oh yeah. Whew, goodness. And we're going to continue from here forward in the next video. And it just, when they say spill the tea nowadays, I think that's where all this starts looking like spilling the tea. But I drink coffee, so maybe it's just pouring the coffee. I don't know, but it gets wow from here, even more than what we just heard. So thank you very much for exploring more autistic history with me.